Hello everyone, this is Manohar Reddy, Department of Cybersecurity, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. Today in this session, I am going to discuss about different types of security tools. So here in the security tools, the main importance of using the security tools to scan the network and analyze the network and monitor the network. So based on that monitoring of the network, we are going to find different types of attacks that are available on the network or not. So here we can have a different types of tools that are used to monitor and analyze the network. So here the first one is what? Network sniffers. Network sniffer. So before going to use this all the tools, different types of tools, so we have to understand that the different types of attacks will be there in the TCP IP. So that all the attacks are like synchronous attacks, DOS attacks, spoofing attacks, routing information protocol attacks, that are all different types of attacks. So to find out that attacks, to monitor that attacks on the network, we are going to use this all the tools. So here the first tool is what? Network sniffers. The first tool is what? Network sniffers. So network sniffers are network analyzers. So we can call it as both network sniffers as well as network analyzers. You can say anyway. Those are tools or software or hardware. Those are used to sniff data flow. Sniff data flow. That sniff is nothing but you can craft the data. You can craft the data. That means you have to analyze the data. So sniff data flow through a connection. Through a connection. That connection is network connection. And sniffing tools can be used for analyzing the network packets to solve problems in network. So these sniffing tools are used for what? Analyzing the network. Analyzing the network packets. So once you are started to capture the network, automatically the packets are going to be transmitted to the destination site. So at the moment of transmission, the packets are going to transfer each and every layer. So analyzing is important to each and every packet. So here the packets to solve the problems in network and identify any malicious packets or behavior. Any malicious packets or behavioral pockets. So for this purpose, we are going to use this network sniffers. So sniffing is nothing but you can analyze the network or monitor the network and how the packets are moved to the next layer. How the packets are moved to the next layer. So here, these are some tools. The first tool is what? Wireshark. The first tool is what? Wireshark. It is a open source sniffer tool. It is a open source sniffer tool used for sniffing and analyzing packets. Sniffing and analyzing packets. So sniffing is nothing but you can capture the creation of the packet and you can analyze that crafting of the packet. You can analyze that crafting of the packet. So based on that, you are going to streaming of the particular protocol. So how? The tool is used for sniffing and analyzing packets. So it captures live packets. It captures live packets and can analyze them in offline mode. You can capture the progress in live mode or else offline mode. So in whatever mode, you can capture that all the process and you can analyze the network. And it provides GUI and command line interfaces on different operating system. So this tool, this Wireshark tool is, you can download it from the internet or you can use it as a command line mode. So you can use it as a command line mode or GUI mode. So on both modes, you can use this Wireshark tool for the sniffing purpose. And the second one, TCP dump. TCP dump. It is a free software used for analyzing packets on TCP IP using command line interface. So TCP dump is the CLI interface. It is operated on Linux operating system. and this tool used for analyzing packets. So analyzing packets are nothing but in which packet is started first and which packet is moved to the next and the last packet. So like the way you can analyze all the packets that are moved from source to destination. And the next one, Kismet tool. So Kismet is not only a packet analyzer. It is not only a packet analyzer, but also it is a network detector and intrusion detection system. And a network detector and it is a intrusion detection system. It is one mechanism to find out the detects of any network. So it captures packets on wireless network. So this tool is especially used for wireless networking purpose, and it captures packets on wireless networks using 802.11 A or B or G or N traffic and throughput and throughfeed. So the outputs are shown in using command line interface. So you can use this Kismet as a command line interface to identify the network and to detect the network of any packets. And the next one, AetherCap. So AetherCap is a software. It is a software which you can download it and install it. And for sniffing and analyzing packets with a different protocols. So whenever the packet is transferred, automatically the protocol also displayed. For each and every packet. So it displays the analyzation of the packets as well as the different protocols. Along with that packets, it displays different protocols also. So it can work as man in the middle and launch attacks by sniffing information or passwords, and may be used as a network analyzer also. So it works as what? Man in the middle attack or launch attacks by sniffing all the information or passwords, may be used as a network analyzer. So these are all the different tools for sniffing purpose. And the second one is what? Vulnerability scanners. So vulnerability scanner is a software. It is a software which you can download it from the net and you can install it. Use it to look for vulnerabilities on computer network. So it looks for what? Vulnerabilities. So vulnerabilities are nothing but loopholes or a drawback places that are used to attack by the attackers. So those are the vulnerabilities on computer network and the computer system or computer applications. Anyway you can see that they are used for looking for the vulnerabilities. So these tools are used by attackers to find any vulnerability. That means is there any chance to attack on the target mission? So the attackers are trying to choose the vulnerabilities presented or not. So which can be exploited to launch the attacks. So the vulnerability is a chance for giving the attackers to launch attacks. On the other hand, security administrators use it to find open vulnerabilities on their systems. So that these can be patched and attacks can be prevented. So system administrators are also find out that vulnerabilities by installing different softwares. But they are able to do what? They are able to patch some different updates or different upgrades, and attacks can be prevented. They are choosing that vulnerabilities for what? They are implementing some update levels or upgrade levels, and attacks can be prevented. So here we can have different types of tools. The first one is what? Nessus. So Nessus is a network vulnerability scanner. It was open source up to 2005. It was a open source software up to 2005. Then it was transformed into commercial product. So before 2005, it is a open source product, but after 2005, it becomes a commercial product. So Nessus works by analyzing the network to find any hole in the network, any vulnerability in the network, which can allow an attacker to launch an attack by exploiting this vulnerability. So it finds the holes which are available in the network that can be used to attack by exploiting these vulnerabilities. So that is the Nessus vulnerability scanner. And the next one, Open VAS. Open VAS. So VAS stands for Vulnerability Assessment System. Vulnerability Assessment System. So Open VAS. So Open VAS is a framework containing several services and tools forged from Nessus in 2005. So after 2005, the Open VAS becomes a open product because of this is forged from Nessus in 2005. So when Nessus was launched as a commercial product, automatically this Open VAS becomes a open source product. And it works on both Linux and Windows. It works on both Linux operating system as well as Windows operating system. And the next one, Core Impact. So it is a very powerful and commercial vulnerability scanner tool. So it is a powerful as well as a commercial vulnerability scanner. So it is not a open source tool and it is a commercial vulnerability scanner. It is used for penetration testing by finding any vulnerability on the system. So they are going to use some penetration testing and find any vulnerabilities on the system or not. After finding a vulnerability, so vulnerability is nothing but what? A place or hole is a chance to launch attack. So it is given as a chance to attack the launch the attacks. So that is a vulnerability. It can exploit the machine to establish an encrypted tunnel. So tunnel is nothing but a channel, encrypted channel or encrypted way to reach other boxes to exploit them. Other boxes are nothing but other hosts to exploit them. And next one, Retina. So this is also a vulnerability scanner tool. It is also a vulnerability scanner tool used to look up vulnerabilities on the network. So it is a vulnerability scanner tool used to look up vulnerabilities on the network. And using GUI, so this is a GUI version and this is not CLI, this is a GUI version, gives the tool more usability. So the drawback with this tool is that it works only on Microsoft Windows. So this is a commercial tool and it works on only Microsoft Windows operating system and it is a GUI tool. It finds the vulnerabilities and it is look up on the network to find the vulnerabilities on the network. So these are all the vulnerability scanners. And third one, attack detection tools. So after establishing the network connection, the packets are moved to the destination side. So during the transmission, some attacks will be launched. So to identify that attacks, to detect that attacks, we are going to use some tools. So that tools. Some tools are used to detect attacks. But they cannot prevent attacks. So here, the attack detection tools are only for detecting the attacks, but not preventing the attacks. So this type of tool is called as intrusion detection system. This type of tool is called as what? Intrusion detection system. And particular genre of intrusion detection system only operate at network layer. Only it operates only network layer, because it is going to use to detect the attacks, so we are using this and operating system network layer, and these are called network intrusion detection. So this is a type of intrusion detection tool, but it operates in the network layer, so that it called as network intrusion detection system. Network intrusion detection system. So these network intrusion detection systems use some signatures, anomaly detections, or both as a detection technique for their operation. They can use both as for detection technique, both anomaly detection and signatures are both as a detection technique. Both as they are using both as for detection techniques. So detection techniques here, NIDS uses signatures as well as anomaly detections. So those two are for their operations. And next one, Firestorm. So this is the first tool for find out the attacks on the network. So Firestorm, this network intrusion detection system, simply you can pronounce it as NIDS. So it has a high performance. It has a high performance and is full of capabilities. It having full of capabilities to detect various attacks. It having full of capabilities, and it is a high performance tool, and it is used to detect various types of attacks, and it can analyze many of protocols. So some of the tools are may not identify or may not analyze all the protocols, but this Firestorm use to analyze many of protocols to detect any malicious patterns in network traffic by using libcap for capturing packets. So here we have to think what libcap is a one capturing tool, that is a capturing tool that identifies the malicious patterns in network traffic. And next one, preload. So it is a hybrid intrusion detection system. Hybrid intrusion detection system. So which uses snort rules, and it is capable of using other IDS rules also. It uses several sensors in the network. To capture and detect. So it performs like both capturing as well as detecting of any malicious packets. So it can work on Linux as well as BSD and other operating system. It works as an on Linux operating system and BSD and other operating systems also it can work. So this preload is for only to capture and detecting of attacks, detecting of malicious packets. And next one, Dragon. Dragon is a network and host intrusion detection system. It is a network and host intrusion detection system which uses rule based and signature based detection techniques. So Dragon is a separate network detection system, or it is an intrusion detection system which uses both rule based and signature based techniques. So it is a commercial tool and comes with extensive library. So it is a commercial tool, but it having more extensible features. That is nothing but extensive library. And its functionality is heavy, and its different parts allow it to detect a wide range of malicious attacks. It contains different parts, and it allows to detect a wide range of malicious attacks because it uses both signature based and rule based authentication. So it having a different parts, they are allowed to detect a wide range of malicious packets. So both user friendly GUI and CLI can be used with Dragon. So this Dragon tool works on both operating systems and works both as a GUI as well as command line interface. Both GUI as well as command line interface. Next one, Zeek. So officially or formally it is called as Bro, and it is a free and open source network intrusion detection system, and it is used only on Unix operating system. It is only used on Unix operating system. And these are all the attack detection tools. So Firestorm, Dragon, and Zeek, or Zeek formerly known as Bro. And the next one, attack prevention tools. So they are different than intrusion detection tools. And that they employ various techniques to prevent attacks too. So that employ various techniques, that use different types of techniques to prevent attacks. So many of attacks tools are used to attack prevention also. So we already said that some of the tools are used for attack detection, but these attack prevention tools are used for only attack prevention. So different mechanism and methods are used for detecting malicious strings and then preventing attacks. So it uses different methods. So used for detecting malicious strings and then preventing attacks. So here, intrusion prevention system. So we are using a detection tool as an intrusion detection system, but here we are using it as an intrusion prevention system. So it uses anomaly or rule-based detection. Uses an anomaly or rule-based detection technique for detecting malicious strings and then prevent attacks. So it uses what intrusion prevention system technique it uses, and that contains anomaly or rule-based detection techniques for detecting malicious strings and then prevent attacks. So actually, IPS is the second generation of intrusion detection system. So intrusion prevention system is the second generation of intrusion detection system, because the attacks are detected if identified. So if the attacks are prevented if they are detected. So attacks are detected if identified, then attacks are prevented if detected. So next one, Snort. So this is the tool Snort. The most famous and powerful IPS works on network layers, and it can also work on application layers. So it can detect and prevent different kind of attacks. So this tool used for both detecting purpose as well as preventing purpose. Worked for both detecting purpose as well as preventing purpose. So it likes buffer overflow, denial of service attacks, stealth port scan, and CGA attacks, and SMB probes and many of other attacks. So Snort is open source tool which is widely used, which and many research and development for it. So it is a open source tool and it will work on both operating system. So it is used for many research and development for it. And next one, Suricata. So Suricata is a free and open source network intrusion detection. So it is a free and open source network intrusion detection and prevention system also. And prevention tool also. So it works on application layer. It works on what? Application layer in addition of network layers. To detect and prevent. Of various types of attacks. To detect of the attacks as well as to prevent of the attacks, we use this open source tool, that is a network intrusion detection tool. And the Suricata uses multi-threading concept, which makes it faster than other IPS or IDS. So it uses multi-threading concept for better fast performances. And this detection technique used by this tool is using rule-based and anomaly-based authentications. And next one, firewall. So firewall is a software or it is a hardware used to protect the network through analyzing the incorporation of the data based on a rule set if they have malicious string or not. So firewall is a software or hardware and it is configured in our system. If you are enabling that firewall, it does not allow us to enter into the system. If it is disabled, then you are able to allow the outside sources into the system. And the net filter. So net filter is a open source and it is written in C and a free firewall but works it only on Linux. So it is a open source and it is already written in C and it is a free firewall, we can say that, but works it only on Linux. But it works only on Linux operating system. And next one, IP filter. So IP filter or short IPF. We can pronounce it as the short form IPF. So it is a open source and a free firewall. Open source and a free firewall. It supports IPv4 and IPv6 and can work on different types of operating system. Different types of operating system. So it is a open source and a free firewall and it supports both IPv4 and IPv6. So these are all the attack prevention tools. Attack prevention tools. And next one, penetration testing tools. Penetration testing tools. So these are the tools which are used by both attackers and the penetration testing professionals. So these tools are used by both attackers can use these tools as well as penetration testing professionals. Penetration testing professionals also can use these tools to get ingress into the network. So here the following are some of the notable penetration testing tools for this TCP IP suite. So some of the following notable penetration testing tools for TCP IP suite. So first one is what? Nmap tool. So it is the tool of choice for network discovery. So it is the tool of choice for network discovery and port scanning and the security auditing of the target network. So it is used for network discovery as well as port scanning and the security auditing purpose. So it is a free and open source tool. It can carry out operating system and network device fingerprinting. So it can carry out operating system and network device fingerprinting. Next one, Netcat. So this small and handy tool. This is a very small and handy tool that means you can use it within the hand. And a tool can be called the Swiss Army knife. And simply you can pronounce as SAK. Swiss Army knife of network pen testing tools. It is a simple Swiss Army knife of network pen testing tools. So it allows reading and writing of data to the network connections using the TCP IP protocol. So it allows to read the data as well as write the data on network connection using these protocols. So any packet can be constructed and dispatched using this Netcat tool. So any packet once it is released, the packet can be constructed and dispatched using Netcat tool. And the next one, HPing tool. So HPing tool is a open source. It is a open source and a free TCP IP packet assembler. So we can call it as a packet assembler and packet analyzer, and it is a open source and free. It does not have a graphical user interface, so it does not operate in the GUI mode. It operates in the CLI mode. And user interfaces and can only be accessed using the command line interface. So that is what we mentioned here. It does not operate in the mode of GUI, but it operated in the mode of CLI, command line interface mode. So these are the penetration testing tools. So here we can understand some the parameters point of view. What is the difference between attacks and vulnerabilities? So here Based on the definition wise, an attack is an act or event. It is an act or event that harms a system. So you are going to execute some program or execute some event to harm the system. That is an attack. So vulnerability is some flaw or weakness in a computer system that gives a chance to launch the attacks. So it is some flaw or weakness in a computer system. And the motive of attack is intentional way to destroy a system. So intentionally the attacks are going to destroy the system. But vulnerability is unintentional, which could exist in a system design itself or business operations point of view or installed software point of view and network configuration point of view. Network configuration point of view. So the vulnerability is not intentional, and the attack is a type of both active and passive. The attack can be a type of both active and passive. But vulnerability can be, it is a hardware or software or network vulnerabilities or a network vulnerabilities. And the operation of the attack is done from out or inside of the network. So it can be operated from out or inside of the network. And the vulnerability is an internal problem. So this is the internal problem, like a system designing problem or network configuration problem or business operations problem. So during this all the problems, you can have this vulnerability of internal problem. And the example of the attacks are, so here cross-site scripting is one example, and SQL injection is an example, and viruses, some type of viruses like malwares, Trojan horse, so some type of viruses. And for here, the vulnerabilities examples, buffer overflow and race conditions, some of the examples, buffer conditions and race conditions, buffer overflow and race conditions are some examples. So these are all the differences between attacks and vulnerabilities. Attacks and vulnerabilities. So here you can see all the different types of tools. So some of the tools are network sniffer tools. Some of the tools are network packet analyzer tools. Some of the tools are vulnerability scanners. And some of the tools are network detection tools. Some of the tools are attack prevention tools. And last, penetration testing tools. So here the Wireshark is a type of category sniffing tools, and it is a open source, and it is a free of cost, and it is supported cross platform, and it operated in GUI mode. It is operated in GUI mode. And next one, TCP dump. TCP dump. It is a type of protocol analyzer. It is a type of protocol analyzer, and it is a open source, and it is a free of cost, and it is a cross platform dependent. It is a operating system dependent. It is operating system independent, and it operated in CLI mode only, command line interface mode. And next, Kismet tool. So this is a wireless sniffer tool, and you can also say that it is a intrusion detection system, and it is a open source, and it is a free, and it is a cross platform, and it is a third party. It is a third party of the tool. And the EtherCap. So this is also a sniffer or protocol analyzer tool, and it is a open source, it is a free of cost, and it is a cross platform, and it operated in GUI mode. And next, Nessus is a vulnerability scanner type, and it is not open source, it is a no free of cost, and it is a cross platform, and it operated in GUI mode. It operated in GUI mode. And OpenVIAS. So it is also a vulnerability scanner. It is open source and free of cost, and it is a cross platform, and it operated in GUI mode. And Core Impact. It is a type of vulnerability scanner, and it open source is no, and it is a not free of cost, and it is a cross platform, and it is operated in GUI mode. It operated in GUI mode. Next, Retina. It is a vulnerability type of scanner, and it is not a open source, and it is not at all free, and it is operated in only Windows operating system, and it is operated in GUI mode only. And next one, Firestorm. So Firestorm, it is a intrusion detection system type, and it is a open source, it is a free of cost, and it is a cross platform, and it operated in CLI mode. And Prelude. Prelude, it is a IDS tool, intrusion detection system tool, and it is a open source, it is a free of cost, and it operated in both operating system, and it is a GUI. It is a GUI. And a Dragon, it is also IDS tool, and it is not a open source, it is not a free of cost, and it is a not a cross platform, it is operated in only Unix, and it is a GUI mode, and it is a GUI mode. And Bro or Zeek is a tool, it is a IDS tool, and it is a open source, and it is a free of cost, it works on only Unix operating system, and it is a GUI version available. And Snort, so Snort is a type of IPS or IDS, that means intrusion prevention system or intrusion detection system tool, and it is a open source, and it is a free of cost, and it is a cross platform, and the GUI version is third party. And the last one, Surikata, it is a operated, it is a category of intrusion prevention system, and it is a open source, and it is a free of cost, and it is a cross platform, and it is a GUI mode of third party. It is a GUI mode of third party. So these are all the different types of tools that we are using in the network for different purposes. So in that we will review all these tools. So the first one is what? Network sniffers for analyzing the packets, and vulnerability scanners for find out the vulnerabilities on the network, and attack detection tools for detecting the attacks, and attack prevention tools for preventing the attacks, and penetration testing tools to find the vulnerabilities on the network. So what is the difference between attack and vulnerability? So these are all the different types of tools that we are using. So all the tools are used for identifying the network, identifying the packets, identifying the attacks, identifying the vulnerabilities. So all these tools are helpful to monitor the network and analyzing the network. So these are all the tools. Some of the tools are open sources, some of the tools are cross-platform, some of the tools are operated in GUI mode or CLI mode. So like the way we can understand all these types of tools for analyzing or monitoring or identifying the network. So these are all the tools. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.